It's a fact known to all of us who grew up on this planet that we have one moon. It hangs in our night sky winking at us every 27 days or so. And it does things like control our tides and inspire lovers and werewolves. But what if there were actually two moons? What would that look like? Would it be a celestial disaster or just a mild inconvenience? To find out, let's think like scientists and run some scenarios. Okay, first things first. A second moon would mean the night sky would often be brighter, sometimes completely eliminating darkness, depending on where in the world you are and where your moon is in its orbit around the Earth. This lack of darkness might have interesting effects on animals and plants and even humans. For example, many creatures that sleep during the day, like nocturnal bullfrogs, may not see any benefit to their otherwise dark nighttime slumber. So they might start sleeping during the day again, which could throw off their whole circadian rhythm. In an age of two moons, we might wake up with a tired frog on our hands. But back to those ancient cultures, our two full moons could make everything look straight out of a fantasy novel. Just imagine a sky full of glowing orbs, each tugging at the ocean to create giant waves. It would also likely inspire some very interesting myths and legends. And speaking of the ocean, that would be the place hit hardest by our twin moons. The Earth's gravitational dance with the moon is part of what creates our tides, the rise and fall of the oceans. With two moons, that dance becomes a little more complicated. Each would pull the water towards them, creating larger and more extreme tides than our modern moon does alone. Since both moons would also rotate the Earth about their axis, we could face additional flooding and receding water on either side of the planet depending on their positions. This could completely reshape our coastlines and sink some countries altogether. Not necessarily a fan of that idea. Farmers who relied on planting by the light of the moon, like many ancient cultures did, might start following two different moon cycles for their harvest. Some may choose to stick with the old ways of the one moon, while others might follow the calendar of the newer one. Those ancient farmers wouldn't be the only ones getting confused. Any animal that relies on the moon to hunt or find food could see a drastic change in behavior. Think of owls, foxes, and deer. How would they react to having two moons in the sky? Would they evolve new hunting habits? Maybe they'd chase each other around in circles. Actually, that would probably drive them crazy. Of course, the most exciting effect of two moons would be the increase in lunar eclipses. Right now, we only get a total solar eclipse when the moon rotates between the sun and the Earth. That means the second moon could block out the sun twice as often, giving us two chances each year to see these amazing events. We'd have more opportunities to take stunning pictures of the two blood-colored moons against the backdrop of a pitch-black sky. If there were two moons, they would also look pretty different from each other. Why? Because moons aren't really moons. They're just rocks. They're captured asteroids that somehow ended up orbiting the planet. Most asteroids are made of rock and dust, but some are made of ice. If our hypothetical second moon happened to be an icy asteroid, it might reflect the sunlight differently, making it appear larger or even change colors compared to our regular moon. The most common color change would probably be yellow, given that most asteroids are rich in metals like nickel and iron, which tend to reflect shorter wavelengths of light. Having two moons would also affect the Earth itself. Our planet's axis tilt and rotation would likely shift, thanks to the added gravitational pull. While this might not sound like a big deal, it could affect the length of our seasons and completely alter weather and climate patterns. A paper published in the journal Nature estimated that the moon helped tip the Earth into its current axial tilt 4 billion years ago. Without it, our planet could have spun like a top without any significant tilt. So if we had two moons, they could combine to exert an even bigger gravitational influence, potentially shifting our planet's balance again. The next time you feel too lazy to get out of bed, just remember, it could have been much worse. Space exploration would be a lot faster if we had two moons to use as pit stops. It might take less fuel to travel to Mars if we can hop off our moon to refuel at another orbital station. And if we ever want to get to Alpha Centauri, we definitely want two moons to rest in between trips. And here's something to think about. Over time, humanity might decide to colonize one moon and use the other as a resource for mining or even energy production. Scientists believe that beneath the surface of the moon lies frozen water. In 2009, NASA confirmed the presence of water on the moon after hitting its surface with a high-energy bullet, so having a second moon to mine could help us set up sustainable bases on the moon. Or maybe we'd be able to use its resources to create an artificial sun to solve our energy problems. The possibilities are endless. But what if we had two moons and they weren't the same size? Let's say one was 3 to 4 times larger than the other. That's when things could get a bit catastrophic. The larger moon's gravity could destabilize the smaller one's orbit, and it could crash right into our planet. And you thought meteor showers were bad. If a second moon were to fly into Earth, it would release a tremendous amount of energy and debris into the atmosphere. It could wipe out life as we know it, kind of like a second Cretaceous mass extinction. The second option is a little more optimistic. The smaller moon could simply escape our gravitational pull and drift away into outer space. As far as we know, no moon has ever left its planet before, so we really don't know what would happen. Maybe Earth's gravity would slowly bring it back down. Maybe it would smash into the moon and knock it out of orbit. Maybe it would trigger a chain reaction that would kick both moons out of orbit at once. Whatever happens, it would be one heck of a show. Now, hypothetically, different cultures might develop different religions based on the two moons. Maybe one would be considered good and the other evil. And if the two moons were constantly at war in the sky, so would the gods. Of course, they'd probably come up with some weird superstitions to blame one moon for their misfortunes, like blaming the dog days of August on the second moon. It would be hard to determine which one brings good luck and which one brings bad. Maybe it would depend on what phase they're in. After all, the moon does have phases, so two moons would mean twice as many phases. They could be full, crescent, gibbous, waning, new, all kinds of stuff. Poets and artists would probably go crazy with the twin moons, coming up with entire themes to celebrate their celestial bodies. In fact, there's already an artist called Twin Moons. Their music sounds like Enya meets Lorena McKennitt. Maybe someday we'll listen to them while looking up at our own twin moons. Our existence could become a bit shaky with two moons hanging over us. According to a study conducted in 2004, the second moon's gravitational pull would cause frequent minor earthquakes across the globe. The average magnitude of such earthquakes would range from 3 to 6 on the Richter scale. So nothing major, just a lot of rumblings and shakings. Speaking of rumblings, it's me. And while I've learned a lot today, there's still a lot that's unknown. I don't know how two moons would affect our daily life. I don't know what kind of weather we'd have. I don't know if we could survive such a catastrophic event. But I do know that it would be pretty awesome to live through. I mean, I'd love to see a double lunar eclipse. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. It means a lot and it helps spread the good vibes. Don't forget to share it with your friends and subscribe for more awesome content. Your support makes all the difference. Thanks a bunch.